What is the best team comp of all time in Overwatch 2? Which heroes have consistently dominated the meta year after year? You may think stable heroes like Winston, Widow, and Ana will make it, but I'll tell you now, none of them do. So if they aren't the best, then who is? Well, I scoured the internet to find data across all seasons of the Overwatch League, as well as using data from fans and other YouTubers to fill in the gaps in other years. I ended up with one big spreadsheet in order to find the best heroes for every role, eventually finishing with a 5-man formation for the ages. So, let's begin at the tank position. Across the lifespan of Overwatch, restrictions on team compositions have been constantly changing. First there were no rules, then you can have more than one of each hero on a team, and then role queue was introduced. My point is that during the majority of Overwatch 1, teams ran at least 2 tanks. However, now with the 5v5 format in Overwatch 2, only 1 tank is allowed, and so this best team will also only include 1 tank. Now, we actually have a clear winner, and it's not even close. You may be thinking that classic tanks like Ryan or Winston will be on top, and I wouldn't fault you for believing so. Winston has still been reasonably strong recently, but he dominated early metas. The first 3 years of the game, he was on basically every team. Just think about it. Dive has been a dominant meta for a long time, and he is the dive tank. Meanwhile, Ryan has consistently been a strong tank. In fact, he is the only one to have gotten points in every single year. Sadly though, for some at least, he never stays in the meta for that long, and so posts no scores above 6, while most years present the possibilities of up to 12 points. So, who is the best tank then? D.va. You may not think about it, but D.va is always being played. Sure, her pick rate is lower now that we only have 1 tank, but think back to when those restrictions didn't exist. D.va was the off tank. Obviously she was strong in dive alongside Winston, but she was also played with Ball. Nobody played Winston with Ball. But that's not all she was used for. She was commonly used with Ryan and even Hog. She was one of the main tanks used during that long period of GOATs. In fact, D.va scored a whopping 36 points overall, with 11 out of a possible 12 in 2018. That puts her 11 points above second place, that being Winston. And so, we move on to the DPS in this lineup. Of course, Soden has been dominant recently, but as she's new, she stands no chance in this battle. No, instead we look to the past and quickly find the best DPS ever, Tracer. She was also dominant alongside Winston in those early dive metas, but her play reaches all the way up to today. Only year in which she didn't see much play was 2019, aka during GOATs, when no DPS were played significantly. Okay, maybe that wasn't too much of a surprise, but who else gets to be part of this superb squad? Well, first just let me mention who is at the bottom of the barrel. Fletcher and Bastion both scored a whopping 2 total points, putting them dead last. Honestly, a surprise to absolutely nobody. However, I think that the DPS at the very bottom is Torp, and despite also getting those same 2 points, they didn't get a single one from Al. Not as a single top team used them consistently. Now that's rough. Who is the second best DPS ever then? No, it isn't Cassidy, it isn't Widow, in fact, it isn't any hit scan or long range hero. No, Genji takes the spot. Sure, people always meme about him getting nerfed way too often. Whilst that may still be true, it seems like Blizzard haven't been completely unjustified. Genji has often been strong, especially in 2017 and 2022. The potential of those quick kills and dive comps, combined with that incredible nanoblade combo, is more than enough to make him the second best DPS of all time. Next up we have the supports, but first, go and hit that like button. A lot of time and effort goes into making these videos, so I would really appreciate it. For supports then, obviously KarQ has been strong ever since her release, but due to being so new, we would still expect her to come last in our rankings. Yet, she doesn't. In reality, Moira gets last place. Now, I'm not saying that she's never been relevant in now, but her lack of utility really does hinder her in comparison to basically every other support. So, I know this is crazy, but the best support ever is actually somehow even more dominant than D.va, posting a whopping 48 points, 17 higher than second. Do you know who it is? Comment down below if you think you already do. I honestly thought that Ana would at least make the top 2. She's been the best flex support ever. By the way, I've never understood why they're called flex supports, and characters like Lucio are considered main supports. Anyway, she has long range healing capabilities to support, for example, a monkey diving, even that super powerful sleep and anti-nade, which can massively help any team comp. Her best counter, KarQ, didn't even exist during most of the game's lifespan. And sure, she does do the best out of all the flex supports, but apparently the best team of all time is running double main support, because she doesn't even make it. Who is the second best then? Who just barely makes it into our squad? I'll give you a hint, she's been playing a lot recently, and it may have something to do with a strong new DPS in Overwatch 2. That's right, it's Mercy. That damage boost has simply been way too powerful this year. Yet, it has been before as well, as most of her points come from back in 2017 and 18. That combined with her higher mobility making her nearly unkillable would already be enough to make her a respectable character. But it's her res, especially the fabled master res from before, which truly earns her a place in this team. Finally then, who is the best support, and in fact, the best hero of all time? Is it Brig after her dominance for at least a year during GOATS, a meta that she herself created? No, not even close actually, although she still warrants some respect. You know, Zen actually does pretty well for himself. The power of Transcendence combined with the almighty Discord Orb gets him far, but not far enough, instead earning him 4th place. In fact, the true winner dominated 2022, receiving 13 out of a possible 14 points. Yes, the top OWL teams played him all but once across the year. That speed boost is just so versatile. It's great for dive, yeah, but it also saves people from being out of position, and it boosts the strength of Ryan Bull immensely. Wait, did I just mention the speed boost? I guess you already know by now then. The winner is Lucio! This character has always been meta, with no less than 2 points in any year, having 5 out of 8 with at least 6. And with his ult countering so many others, which could otherwise be fight or even game winning, alongside that speed boost I've already named, and the difficulty in killing him similar to Mercy, he earned this spot. So, what is our final lineup then? What is truly the best team of all time? Well, we end with d.va in the tank position, Tracer followed by Genji at DPS, and finally Lucio and Mercy in support. So, would this comp actually be good together? Well, that's debatable. Tracer and Genji do both synergize well with each other in a hard dive comp, and d.va can act as a dive tank to help them out. Aside from me probably preferring a Monkey over d.va for that same role, the support line is where the issues arise. I'm not saying that Mercy Lucio is never good, but they don't really work well together in this specific lineup. Fair, can work pretty well here, but it's the Mercy which sticks out. Since there's no hit scan for her to damage boost, her power wins significantly. These two supports together will find it difficult to heal their teammates effectively. That's why I'd instead simply switch Mercy out for an Ana. That solves the issue when it comes to healing, as it's easier for her to heal Genji and Tracer without having to dive in after them, as well as giving the d.va some much needed support. Furthermore, the nade can provide some good utility, and that Nano Blade combo can never be overlooked. d.va, Tracer, Genji, Lucio, Ana. Seems like a solid team to me, but of course Mercy is the one to make it into the best team of all time. What do you think? Obviously the sample sizes for these stats are pretty small, but by the way, I'll link the spreadsheet and give a more detailed description of how I got them down below. But they still seem pretty reasonable. But, you know what? The AI in this game are a mess no matter what team they use, which is why I'd recommend for you to check out this video on the truth about them. I'll see you there!